To say that dealing with toxic people can be frustrating, infuriating, and painful even is an understatement. In this video, I'm going to give you the tools you need to navigate these difficult relationships in a powerful way with your dignity, integrity, self-respect, and self-esteem intact. 13 clever ways to deal with toxic people like the empowered badass you know you can be. Let's do it. Hey friends, Tamie M Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new here, I want to welcome you to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. This is the place where we discuss all things related to personal empowerment and emotional intelligence through energetic alignment, specifically for empaths, scapegoats, and awakening light leaders. So let's dive into 13 clever ways to deal with toxic people like the empowered badass you know you can be. Number 1, exercise wise discernment. That's right. The very first step in being able to deal with toxic people well and powerfully lies in you developing your ability to exercise and practice wise discernment when it comes to identifying and understanding exactly who and what it is you're dealing with. The problem with empaths, in particular untreated codependent empaths, is our tendency to assume that other people have our heart, our good intent. We can be incredibly naive and gullible, and therefore we have a tendency to project the good that we carry onto people who do not carry the same. Difficult as it may be to accept, the truth is some people are fundamentally malevolent and destructive. They intend to harm you. They want to hurt you. They quite literally get a sick kick out of undermining, sabotaging, or outright working to destroy you and any good you might have going on in your life. So, being able to spot people who absolutely do not have your best interest at heart, people who feel threatened by you and the light that you carry, people who are jealous, envious, contemptuous, and disdainful, unwarranted and unprovoked as that may be, being able to see their true intent toward you for what it is and not ignore the red flags, but instead tell yourself the truth about what you see, what you feel, and what you hear, no matter who they are, no matter how much you wish it were different. No matter how inconvenient or uncomfortable standing in that truth is going to be for you, or anyone else for that matter. This kind of discernment is vital. And I'm telling you, taking the rose-colored glasses off is the first step. Number 2, relinquish the fantasy that the toxic person will ever change. I promise you, they do not change. Not in any real or lasting way, anyway. Now, this includes, by the way, that you cease all efforts to force, coerce, or entice the toxic person to change. All this does is feed them a steady stream of attention and along with it, your vital life force energy. So stop. And again, surrender to the reality of who and what it is you're actually dealing with. You want to really ground yourself in reality, not how you wish things were or want them to be. Not all the future faking and, the BS, false promises you may be hearing from the toxic person. You don't want to be standing on that faulty ground, BSing yourself, buying into the nonsense. Instead, stay grounded in reality, based on the truth of your experience and who this person has shown themselves to be, usually on repeat. What they've shown you they're capable of, on repeat. Pay attention. Tell yourself the dirt honest truth and stay with what's real. Toxic and destructive people do not change. Not for your benefit anyway. Number 3, it's time now to start valuing and protecting your emotional well-being. If you want to deal with toxic people in a powerful way, you have to be operating from a place of strength. This means that you not only value, but you also go the distance in order to protect your emotional well-being. You become willing to do whatever it takes for yourself, whatever it takes to take good care of yourself. And a big piece of this is knowing how to set healthy limits and boundaries, not just with toxic people, but with everyone in your life, especially anyone who drains and depletes you, anyone who feels entitled to exploit you, emotionally or otherwise. You do what you need to do to take care of yourself. You nurture yourself, you feed yourself well, you get adequate rest. And yes, you're a kind, considerate, and compassionate person, willing to help, give, and serve where you can and where appropriate, but never to your own detriment. This is what it means to value and protect your emotional well-being. Or at the very least, it's a very good place to start. Number 4, practice a technique called emotional insulation, whereby you are much better equipped to ward off projections, stop taking on or believing in the toxic person's opinion, and manage your own triggered feelings with comfort, ease, and grace. Now, if you don't know what I mean by practicing emotional insulation, this is something we go in depth in my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class. If that's of interest to you, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Suffice to say, a big part of the emotional insulation technique is that we stop trying to empathize with the toxic person. All this does is open you up to projective identification, and moreover, it won't be reciprocated. Your empathy won't be reciprocated. So save your empathy for yourself and others who are relatively healthy and sane. People who actually have the capacity to treat you with genuine empathy, kindness, decency, and respect. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not you're finding value in this video. Let me know in the comment section below. Also, there's a free gift section in the description below this video filled with really amazing and powerful resources, so be sure to avail yourself of that as well. Number 5 is to withdraw from the conflict. And one of my all-time favorite ways to do this is to employ the gray rock method, whereby you simply withdraw from the struggle, the conflict, and the battle of wills. So, if you haven't done so already, you'll want to begin practicing and mastering the gray rock method. Here's the thing. Toxic people rely on attention, on your emotional response. They poke and provoke with snide remarks and backhanded insults or passive-aggressive digs, and the gray rock method is how you remain indifferent and stop rewarding their toxic behavior. And yes, some toxic personalities will initially escalate their antics, putting you and your emotional gray rock to the test. When this happens, you simply want to keep your cool, stay consistent. Remember, you're not to blame, nor are you responsible for the negativity that they're displaying. Remain detached, and whatever you do not react. And if you want to go deeper into learning how to use the gray rock method specifically, you can watch this video here. Now, with that said, you'll want to beware of narcissistic baiting. As I said, some toxic people will escalate their tactics, and when they aren't able to get their desired reaction from you, they'll really turn up the volume. This is when you can expect the baiting to begin. And if ever there was a time to turn the other cheek, this is it. Not because you're a pushover who just rolls over and allows the toxic person to have their way with you, not at all, but because you are wise, smart, empowered, detached, and utterly indifferent to their provocations. You're taking good care of yourself, so you're more easily able to rise above the malicious and manipulative tactics that they use in an attempt to bait you into reacting for no other reason than to be able to point the finger at and blame you, call you the crazy one. And if you want to learn more about narcissistic baiting, you can watch this video here. Number 7, the win technique. The win technique is my favorite boundary setting technique, in particular when dealing with toxic, empathy-impaired, emotional manipulators who feel entitled to hurt you and blame you for the hurt they cause. Now, how this works is you simply fill in the blanks, and it goes as follows. When you, I feel, I need you to. So, for example, when you speak to me that way, I feel disrespected. I need you to stop now. And no doubt they won't take you seriously initially. And you'll have to repeat yourself a few times. So, when that's the case, once you get to the third repetition, you'll want to start adding a consequence to the end of your win statement. But only do this when you're actually prepared to back yourself and follow through. Otherwise, you lose all credibility, and dealing with a toxic person will only become more difficult moving forward. Now, if you want to go deeper with me into learning the win technique and how to use it, you can watch this video here. Number 8, practice and master the art of detachment and non-reactivity. And in my opinion, the best way to ensure you're able to do this is to do your own personal healing and recovery work. Why? Well, because when you heal for real and you're taking good care of yourself, you aren't so easy to trigger. Instead, you become far less reactive, and it becomes much easier for you to remain detached and, as I said, indifferent, no matter what the toxic person is doing or saying. When you can master the art of non-reactivity through detachment, you're denying the toxic person the emotional response that they're looking for. And a good way to do this is by choosing silence. Remember, silence is no communication, and no communication is communication. And in maintaining this posture, you're demonstrating that you have a high level of self-control and that you're unwilling to participate in their negativity. The message that it sends is one of strength and non-attachment to the emotional manipulation and provocative behavior they're engaging in. Instead, you keep your composure and remain unmoved, confident, clear, and most importantly, quiet. Silence. It can be a very powerful thing when dealing with toxic people. Number 9, go low doses or no doses. Now, this boils down to controlling what you can control. You can't control the attitudes and behavior of toxic people, but often you're able to manage the amount of time you spend with them. And I get that's not always easy or possible even for everyone, and certainly not something that everyone is in a position to do immediately. But when it is possible, simply do what you can to reduce the amount of time you spend interacting with them. When possible, establish literal physical distance. Establish emotional distance with toxic family members in particular. At the very least, exercise mental detachment by observing their contact from an impartial and detached perspective, without allowing yourself to become emotionally invested and therefore enmeshed and entangled in all their nonsense. And look, I'm not saying this is always going to be easy to do, but if you want to deal with toxic people in a powerful way, distance yourself to the degree that you're able, no matter who they are, and no matter who has an issue with it. It's your job and responsibility to take care of and protect yourself from harmful people. It's your job and responsibility to take care of and protect yourself from people who feel entitled to target and hurt you, no matter how passively or aggressively they do so. So go low doses, or if possible, no doses, and watch your life begin to improve quickly. Number 10, find someone you trust in. Find a trusted confidant. Someone you can vent to when you need to. Someone who is safe and healthy enough to be able to hold space for you in a non-judgmental way. Consider working with a qualified therapist, coach, or counselor. Someone who actually understands the dynamics at play with toxic people, but more importantly, really gets the solution, the healing journey, and the tactics and strategies that work. Someone who gets it. Again, your number one job and responsibility is to yourself. It's your job to seek out and get as much support as you need. What you're looking for in this person is that they have the ability to be an active listener. An active listener doesn't offer advice unless you ask them for it, nor do they make the conversation all about themselves or their issues. They have empathy and integrity. They don't gossip. They've demonstrated consistently over time that they can be trusted and will hold your disclosures in confidence. Surround yourself with people who are supportive of you, who inspire you, and who share your fundamental values. People you can turn to in difficult times for support and guidance. Number 11, remember, it's not your stuff. The attitudes and behaviors of the toxic individual or individuals that you're struggling with are a reflection of their own inner issues. Their tendency will be to divert attention away from their own inadequacies and shortcomings by making you a target. Now, that only works if you're willing to stand there and take their opinions on board, keeping in mind what's really going on while simultaneously refusing to take anything they do or say seriously or personally. Seeing it as nothing more than information about who they are is the name of the game here. And again, I get this isn't always easy to do. And this is why it is so vitally important that we do our personal healing and recovery work. Because the truth is, the more we do that work, the stronger, more confident, clear, and peaceful we become. The easier it is to go deep, as Dr. Ramani would say. Do not defend, engage, explain, or personalize whenever you're dealing with a toxic person. Ever. Again, it's simply not your stuff. Number 12 is the 3 C's. As they say in Al-Anon, remember, you did not cause it, you cannot control it, and you certainly can't cure it. So, when it comes to what's going on with the toxic person, it's important that you stay grounded in the 3 C's and that you not try to fix whatever it is that they're in the process of breaking, including themselves or the relationship they have with you. As untreated, highly empathic codependents, we can make ourselves very sick, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise, trying to fix others and, like I said, what they're in the process of breaking. We can really do a number on ourselves when we go down that path. So don't go there. Instead, hands off. Get the hell out of God's way and let the toxic person suffer the natural consequences of their actions. Karma never loses an address. Remember that. And last but not least, number 13, know when to walk away, and permanently if necessary. Grieve your losses, grieve the loss of what was, as well as what never was, and what will never be. You're a deeply feeling human being with a heart and a conscience. Naturally, you're going to have feelings about it, and that's okay. Have your feelings. Feel all of it deeply. Honor what you feel, and know when it's time to walk away. As I've said repeatedly, it is your number one job and responsibility to take care of yourself. Nobody else is going to do that for you. And depending on the circumstances, there's many ways to walk away and close the door if necessary. Sometimes a conversation or a letter, taking the opportunity to say your piece for yourself or for the record, whatever. Sometimes that's absolutely appropriate and called for. Sometimes the less said, the better. Simply turn on your heel and leave. There doesn't have to be a dramatic scene as you exit stage left. Even the gradual withdrawal of contact, politely declining invitations, or simply limiting contact and communication, these are all very effective techniques that have the potential to protect you from the effects of exposing yourself to toxic people. And believe me, I get it. Making the decision to leave a toxic friendship or any relationship, particularly one that involves close family members, in-laws, or even coworkers for that matter, can be an extremely difficult decision to have to make. Here's the thing about that. Prioritizing your mental health, your well-being, is vitally important. Again, no one else is going to do this for you. And really, what's the alternative? Stay? Stand still and continue to be targeted, maligned, mistreated, or otherwise abused? How's that working for you? Instead, stop waiting for the toxic person to change. As I said earlier, they don't change. Stop waiting for it to get better. It's not going to get better. Instead, pour all of your time, energy, and attention into what actually serves you, what's good for you, what really matters, whatever it is that contributes to you enjoying a good and peaceful life. A good, happy, healthy, harmonious, peaceful, and productive life. Continuing to be in a relationship that is unhealthy is a great way to waste your life. Your life. This is your life we're talking about here. Standing still in a toxic relationship is a terrific way to waste your valuable time, your energy, and your resources. Instead, consider giving yourself the opportunity to invest in positive connections, meaningful pursuits, and experiences that actually feed your soul, things that make you happy, and contribute to your living a productive and prosperous life. Once you distance yourself from whoever or whatever it is that's holding you back. And for the record, making the difficult decision to walk away from something or someone is not a sign of weakness or defeat. Rather, it's a sign of acceptance of reality. Acceptance of a circumstance that you're unable to change. It's a deliberate choice to detach from toxic people and toxic environments and the negative emotions they inspire in you. Be clear that the only thing you're giving up is the toxic dynamic that has proven itself to be harmful to you and your well-being. Decide that's a price you're no longer willing to pay. It's time now. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, you should know the Ascension class is open for enrollment. Now, this is for you if you're ready and able to invest in yourself, you're ready to shift your identity, master the law of attraction, heal your relationship with money, and put a full stop end to the limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors that are holding you back and preventing you from living your best life. If you're ready to reinvent yourself from the inside out, create your dream life by design, and finally become the you were always meant to be, click the link in the description below this video and apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.